The 2018 LGMA Queensland Propeller Program story is about 17 council officers from different councils embarking on an adventure to get a broader understanding of local government in Queensland, its nuances, challenges and opportunities. With a diverse group of people and personality types, it was destined to be an enlightening, interesting and fun journey. Take a look at our adventure. The first workshop was on the beautiful Sunshine Coast, with the theme of the day being governance. The group started with a visit to the Sunshine Coast Council Smart Centre in Caloundra, where Smart Centre officer Jackie Gray showed us the facility and explained some of the innovative technology and systems that the council has put in place or is developing for the future. Some of the smart technology solutions include free public Wi-Fi, rubbish bins that sense when they need emptying, smartphone technology which alerts motorists of available car parks, and data that allows businesses to better understand customer behaviour. We also met the first non-human recruit, Cassie the robot.
Hi, I'm Cassie, Sunshine Coast Council's first non-human recruit,
who was responsible for greeting guests and helping them take self-tours if staff are busy. The group then made their way to Nambour for a workshop with Council's governance team, headed by Manager Corporate Governance Kim Driver and Coordinator Governance Process and Policy Shelley Madall. Kim and Shelley were extremely knowledgeable and professional in their delivery, and amongst other things explained the in-house design governance framework, risk management, internal auditing and the importance of managing governance via education and not just compliance regulation. Integrity Management Officer Michael Cohn spoke to the group regarding the importance of information management, record keeping and privacy policies and how they fit within the governance framework. Coordinator Contract and Supply Services Alyssa Ratcliffe discussed some of the policies that are in place regarding procurement and how they serve to make sure that Council's governance requirements are met. The group were all suitably impressed at the professionalism shown by the Sunshine Coast Council governance team and could see that this was the benchmark for all councils to aspire to. Next, the group travelled to Rockhampton in central Queensland. Straddling the Fitzroy River, Rockhampton has a population of 80,000 and is known for being the beef capital of Australia. The focus of the workshop was community consultation, and the day commenced with Wade Clark and Drew Stevenson taking us on a tour of the newly completed Riverbank Revitalisation Project to discuss the project and the community engagement plan undertaken. The project transformed the upper and lower bank of Rockhampton's iconic Fitzroy River, featuring a fully reconstructed Quay Street, pier structure with restaurant facilities, wet play area and state-of-the-art children's playground, revitalised gardens and shaded amphitheatre. The area has activated the central CBD and become a place for regular events and festivals. The Riverside Precinct is an outstanding example of how new technologies are being introduced to position Rockhampton as a smart regional centre, such as smart parking solutions, smart poles, free digital banners and public Wi-Fi to name a few. The tour also included a pop into Council's Smart Hub, a state-of-the-art, purpose-designed co-working space at Rockhampton's iconic Customs House. The Council have established a facility to provide support and assistance to startups, entrepreneurs and small business owners. Following this, the CQ University Physical Activity Research Group Associate Professor Keneal Vanderlenot presented the 10,000 Steps Initiative, which is a community-based multi-strategy health promotion project. Discussions were held around how councils across Queensland have adopted the 10,000 Steps program to encourage their communities to become more physically active. The group then journeyed onto the Pilbeam Theatre. The theatre is a focal point for performing arts in central Queensland, offering a diverse range of productions all year round. John Webb, the Coordinator Major Venues, and Louise Hales, the Arts and Development Programs Officer, presented a different take on community engagement, and their passion for connecting with the Rockhampton community was both energising and inspiring. The schedule of productions and interactive community workshops facilitated a high level of community involvement for the residents and visitors to Rockhampton and form an integral part of delivering the Council's engagement vision. The day then finished with a sense of adventure, having a night tour of the spectacular Capricorn Caves. Livingston, Day 2 in central Queensland began with an early morning bus trip from Rockhampton to Yeppoon for our workshop at Livingston Shire Council. We were welcomed to the picturesque coastal town by traditional dancing to the sounds of a didgeridoo. The theme of the Livingston workshop was political context, and the speakers didn't disappoint. The group heard from the Mayor of Livingston Shire Council, Bill Ludwig. Mayor Ludwig shared stories of his leadership journey representing the Livingston Shire. We were inspired by the Mayor's ability to complete major infrastructure projects, despite being told his ideas for the community were impossible when he shared his vision many years earlier. Dave Mezzaferi of Livingston Shire Council then told our group of the lessons his community had learnt as a result of being the subject of many natural disasters. We were shown around Yeppoon's state-of-the-art new disaster coordination centre and told how the construction of the building was supported by both state and federal government. Our group was taken on a tour of the newly developed Yeppoon foreshore. This project consisted of many elements, including a new undercover car park, edgy artwork, a children's water park, an infinity pool lagoon and new skate park. We were told of some of the hurdles Livingston Shire Council faced during the construction phase of the project and how funding was successfully secured. Andrea Ellis, Acting Director of Corporate Services, spoke to our group about how councils are financed and what councils need to remain financially viable. Our group learned about councils' reporting obligations and how these may change in the future. Our time on the Capricorn coast was completed with an afternoon visit to Great Keppel Island. Our group was shown the remains of the former Great Keppel Island resort and told of the political controversy surrounding the island. Our group was lucky enough to end the workshop with dinner on the island while watching the sunset over the water. The fourth workshop saw the group head to far north Queensland to the remote Indigenous council of Wudjil Wudjil. Wudjil is part of the traditional homelands of the eastern Gugu Yalangi and in traditional language means many waterfalls. The small Aboriginal community comprises just under 20 hectares and is located 30 kilometres north of the World Heritage listed Cape Tribulation where the rainforest meets the reef. Located on the Bloomfield River, the community has a small population of around 326 people and features a series of spectacular waterfalls which are culturally sacred to the local community and also double as the town's water source. The adventure kicked off early from Port Douglas with the group poling into 3 4-wheel drives for the trip through the Daintree, with a creek crossing which prompted a few expletives and questions about vehicle insurance. Fortunately, the group made it through unscathed and hit the track and several bumps on the way into Wudjil country. Upon arrival to Wudjil, we were greeted by representatives from council and headed down to the spectacular falls for a traditional welcome to country. The community elders gave us a traditional yalada and were proud to share their history and the importance of the falls to their culture. The group headed back to the community centre where we enjoyed a presentation from Kate, Economic and Community Development Officer. The group got an insight into some of the unique challenges that face small Indigenous councils operating in remote settings and how Wudjil are leading the way with new innovative technology to service the needs of their community. It was great to hear all about the council's emergency management network designed to ensure all users of the network can maintain communications prior, during and immediately following disaster events. The group enjoyed the opportunity to engage with some of the local elders on their thoughts on leadership before the workshop concluded with a presentation from Wudjil Wudjil Council CEO, Eileen Deemel Hall. Eileen proved to be an inspiration to many in the group with her raw and honest account of what leadership means to her and how she personally strives to lead her staff and her community. Eileen's powerful presentation resonated with many in the group as she challenged us all to strive to be the best leaders we can be. The entire day was a deadly adventure full of new experiences including a live crocodile sighting and will remain a lasting memory for many of the Propeller mob. After surviving the trip through the Daintree, the group headed back to Port Douglas for the 5th workshop of the program. The day's theme was communication and it was kicked off by Executive Officer Gary Kerr giving the group an overview of Douglas Shire's approach to corporate communication and the importance of setting suitable timelines for public consultation. Shane Nichols, editor of Port Douglas and Mossman Gazette, discussed the importance of council having a relationship with the media and how reaching the target audience can be achieved. Communications and Engagement Officer Tom Volling discussed examples of good and bad communication through the media. The standout example was the maintenance required on the Daintree ferry. the public backlash and the lessons that Council learnt from this event. The group then went on a walking workshop with Gary Kerr. Council is planning upgrades along the Crossing Street, and Gary wanted input from the group regarding what kind of public consultation would be required and who the main stakeholders would be. The afternoon session included discussions around Council website, in particular what kind of experiences a user having now, what would the ultimate site look like, and how do we make sure that we are using the latest trends and technologies. For Workshop 7, the Propeller team again headed north, this time to the rich mining and agricultural country of the Central Highlands region. The area encompasses around 60,000 square kilometres and is home to around 30,000 people living across 13 unique communities, which is why this region was selected to drill down into the complexities of government from a rural perspective. Emerald was the base for this workshop, and Mayor Kerry Hayes set the tone for the morning, explaining to the group how Central Highlands have a rich agricultural industry that ensures they are diversified enough to ride the waves of the mining booms. Michelle Webster, the General Manager of Commercial Services, then gave the group further insight into the various functions that the Council undertakes, such as managing the airport, sales yards, quarries, and a portfolio of approximately 200 rental properties for staff and low price accommodation required as a result of the mining boom making renting unaffordable. Michelle challenged the group to seek challenges and opportunities and spoke about how real growth occurs when you are out of your depth. Lachlan Miller, the state member for the region, then addressed the group reminding the audience of how important it is for local, state and federal levels of government to be working together and advocating for the same outcomes. He also spoke about the sheer size of the road infrastructure in the area, and with this geographical spread, it is imperative for government at all levels to strive for equity of service to their communities. Gerhard Hubert, the General Manager of Infrastructure and Utilities, also reinforced this message further in his presentation, using an example of a recent road infrastructure project and the future capacities that this project has created for their growing agricultural industry. The group then went to visit the construction site of the new wastewater treatment plant, with Peter Manning, the Manager of Water and Utilities, taking us on a tour. We were interested to learn about how the timelines of this project had been influenced by such issues as crane boom height restrictions due to the proximity to the airport runway, as well as how this plant would give Emerald suitable capacity for future growth. Margaret Gatt, the Manager of Asset Management, was an inspirational post-lunch speaker, focusing on her pathway and promoting opportunities for staff to progress their careers in regional communities such as Emerald. The last session of the day was a guided tour of the local sale yards, owned and operated by Central Highlands Regional Council. The tour was led by Sale Yards Manager Tim Maguire and was a bit of a culture shock for those of us from the Big Smoke. It was amazing to see the sheer number of cattle arriving into the sale yards in preparation for the weekly sales on Thursday mornings. The sale yard services buyers, sellers and agents from a catchment area spanning many thousands of square kilometres, and is another great example of Council ensuring its economy is resilient against mining fluctuations, injecting $94.6 million into the regional economy last year. It was a very appropriate way to finish off a great trip, reinforcing Emerald's thriving agricultural interests. For Workshop 8 we travelled to Gympie. The theme of the workshop was business and industry development, and we started the day by hearing from Lynn Wilbraham, Manager Economic Development, detailing the diverse industries that underpin the local economy, including manufacturing, food and agribusiness, timber and forestry, and transport and logistics. We learnt about a range of catalyst projects that are being delivered across the region and the importance of collaboration with neighbouring councils. Next we heard from Andrew Saunders, Manager of Tourism Development, about the innovative way Council is leveraging partnerships with tourism partners such as Visit Sunshine Coast, Tourism Noosa and Tourism Events Queensland to deliver collaborative campaigns enabling global exposure of the Gympie region. Again, we learnt about the importance of collaboration and building relationships with neighbouring councils to advance a region. A group was then taken on a tour of the Merry Valley Rattler, a steam train that has just recently been restored and is now in operation running 3 days per week between Gympie and Ammermoor. We heard from Project Manager Heather Kelly on how the Rattler provides a unique and memorable experience, travelling along a route that showcases the scenic Merry Valley and quaint country towns that are known for their high quality produce. Heather then took us on a tour of the train carriages and down to the train workshop, where we were able to see carriages that are parked for future restoration. We then headed back to the pavilion, where we heard from Julie Williams, CEO of Ag Solutions. Julie spoke to the group about the significant growth of Ag Solutions in recent times, and partly attributed this success to the implementation of lean process. Julie explained the lean system and gave examples of the efficiencies it has provided her company. We wrapped up the day with a panel consisting of Gina Verica, Director of Planning and Development, Bernard Smith, CEO of Gympie Regional Council, and Mayor Mick Curran. The panel discussed their perspectives on the controversial topic of Council's role in terms of business and economic needs versus roads, rates and rubbish. For the final workshop, we set out for the world-renowned surfing destination of Noosa. The workshop focused on coaching and mentoring, and the day commenced with threats of severe thunderstorms and a brilliant idea to learn to sail. Scott and his team from the Noosa Yacht and Rowing Club gave the group tips on coaching from a sporting perspective, which could be adapted to suit the workplace. The results were evident in expert tacking and a pretty competitive race. Following the morning's excitement, we headed to the Noosa Shire Council office. Somebody must have warned the Workplace Health and Safety Officer that the group of the state's next best executives were on their way, so they devised a plan to stage an evacuation precisely as we arrived, obviously an attempt to keep us out. Our first speaker of the day was Noosa Shire Council CEO Brett DeChastel, who had video recorded his presentation earlier. Brett, with a long history as both a mentor and mentee, provided advice on the great difference between coaching and mentoring. With 3 current mentees and 2 long-term mentors, Brett provided great detail of the structured process he has adopted and the mutual benefits of mentorship. We were lucky enough to then speak with one of Brett's current mentees, who was forthcoming with details as to how she sought out Brett as a mentor and shared greater insight into the mentor-mentee relationship. Next we met Alan Fox Rogers, acting CEO during Brett's absence from the workplace. Fox lightheartedly chatted with the group about his progress through council, from a young boy working with the sewerage crew to joining a community in New Zealand, and eventually moving to a director role, and is now looking forward to retiring at the end of the year. The next speaker was also a native of Noosa Shire Council, Kerry Contini, Manager for Libraries and Galleries, who shared the same views as Brett and his mentee Rebecca. Kerry suggested that a good mentor was someone who could challenge you and would work with your strengths and weaknesses. She also advised that a mentor may be better suited if their workplace was outside of your organisation. She spoke about contemplating timeframes, considering how long you may want or require a mentor for, as that can influence who you approach to be your mentor. Danny Morris from Logan City Council gave an interactive presentation focused on the importance of coaching in the workplace. Danny shared some of the initiatives adopted by Logan City Council and advice on their effectiveness. The topic of the workshop highlighted the differing views and opinions of our guest speakers and has prompted the group to consider how we can improve our personal coaching skills and whether mentorship will work for us individually. From sailing to casual conversations through to more formal presentations, Workshop 8 was a fantastic close to the 2018 LGMA Propeller program. The topic and epic location will surely be remembered by all.